Hello everyone, welcome to Finance by Vishan Arpita. In today's video we'll see indicators. So the first video has already been uploaded relating to indicators. So if you haven't watched that video, please watch that video first. And the first topic for today's video is moving average convergence and divergence MACD. In the late 70s, Appel developed moving average convergence and divergence indicator. Traders consider MACD as the grand old daddy of indicators. Though invented in 70s, MACD is still considered one of the most reliable momentum traders indicator. As the name suggests, MACD is all about the convergence and divergence of the two moving averages. Convergence occurs when the two moving averages move together each other, and divergence occurs when the moving average move away. A standard MACD is calculated using a 12-day EMA and a 26-day EMA. Please note both the EMAs are based on the closing price. We subtract the 26 EMA from the 12-day EMA to estimate the convergence and divergence value. A simple line graph of this is often referred to as MACD line. Let us go through match first and then figure out the application of MACD. So this is the chart that you can see. Let us go through the table starting from left. We have the dates starting from 1st January 2014. Next to the date we have closing price of Nifty. We leave the first 12 data points closing price of Nifty to calculate the 12-day EMA. We then leave the first 26 points to calculate the 26-day EMA. Once we have both 12-day and 26-day EMA running parallel to each other, 6th February 2014, we calculate MACD value. So MACD value is 12-day EMA minus 26-day EMA. For example, on 6th February 2014, 12-day EMA was 6153 and 26-day EMA was 6198. Hence the MACD would be 6153 minus 6198. That comes out to be minus 45. We calculate the MACD value over 12 days and 26 days EMA and plot it on the line graph. We get the MACD line which oscillates above and below the central line. So you can see in this, given the MACD value, we try and find the answer to a few obvious questions. What does a negative MACD value indicate? How does a positive MACD value indicate? What does basically negative क्या indicate करता है, positive क्या indicate करता है? What does the magnitude of MACD value actually mean? As in, what information does a minus 90 MACD convey versus a minus 30 MACD? The sign indicated basically associated with MACD just indicates the direction of the stock move. For example, if 12-day EMA is 6380 and 26-day EMA is 6220, the MACD value is plus 160. Under what circumstances do you think the 12-day EMA will be greater than 26-day EMA? Well, we had looked into this in the moving average chapter. The short term average will generally be higher than long term only when the stock price trends up upward. Remember, the short term average will always be more reactive to the current price when the long than the long term average. The positive sign tells us that there is a positive momentum in the stock and the stock is drifting upwards. The higher the momentum, the higher is the magnitude. For example, plus 160 indicator positive trend, which is stronger than plus 120. However, while dealing with the magnitude, always remember price of the stock influences the magnitude. For example, the higher the underlying price, such as Bank Nifty, naturally the higher will be the magnitude of MACD. When the MACD is negative, it means 12-day EMA is lower than 26-day EMA. Therefore, the momentum is negative. Higher the momentum of MACD, the more strength in the downward trend. The difference between the two moving average is called the MACD spread. The spread decreases when the momentum mellows down and increases when the momentum increases. To visualize convergence and divergence trend, traders usually plot MACD value chart, often referred to as MACD line. So this MACD chart of Nifty for data points starting from 1st January 2014 to 18th August 2014. As you can see, MACD line oscillates over a central zero line. This is called the central line. The basic interpretation of MACD indicator is when the MACD line crosses the center line from the negative territory to positive territory, it means there is divergence between the two averages. This is a sign of increasing bullish momentum. Therefore, one should look at buying opportunities. From the chart, we can see this planning out around 27th February. When the MACD line crosses the center line from positive territory to negative territory, it means there is a convergence between two averages. This is a sign of increasing bearish momentum. Therefore, one should look at selling opportunity. As you can see, there are two instances during which the MACD almost turned negative: 8th May and 24th July. Both the MACD just stopped at the zero line and reverse direction. Traders generally argue that while waiting for the MACD line to cross over the central line, a bulk of movie would always be done and perhaps it would be late to enter a trade. To overcome this, there is an improvisation over this basic MACD line. The improvisation comes in the form of an additional MACD component, which is the 9th-day signal line. A 9-day signal line is an exponential moving average of the MACD line. If you think about this, we now have two lines: a MACD line, a 9-day EMA of the MACD line, also called the signal line. The trader can follow a simple 2-day crossover strategy with these two lines as discussed in the moving average chapter and no longer wait for center line crossover. The sentiment in is bullish when the MACD line crosses the 9-day EMA, whereas MACD line is greater than the 9-day EMA. When this happens, the trader should look at buying opportunity. The sentiment is bearish when the MACD line crosses below the 9-day EMA, wherein the MACD line is lesser than the 9-day EMA. When this happens, the trader should look at the selling opportunities. So the chart here plots the MACD indicator of the Asian Paints Limited. You can see MACD line below the price chart. The indicator uses standard parameters for MACD: 12-day EMA of the closing price, 26-day EMA of the closing price. MACD line 12-day EMA minus 26-day EMA represents, so it is represented by the black lines. 9-day EMA of the MACD line represented by the red line. The chart's vertical line highlights the chart's crossover point where a signal to buy or sell originate. For example, the first vertical line starting from the left point to a crossover where the MACD line lies below the signal line lies and suggests a short trade. The second vertical line from left point to a crossover where the MACD line lies above the signal line should look at buying opportunities, so on and so forth. Please note, at the core of the MACD system are moving averages. Hence, the MACD indicator has similar properties like that of moving average system. They work quite well when there is strong trend and are not too useful when moving sideways. You can notice this from the first two starting from left. Needless to say, the MACD parameters are not set in stone. One is free to change. The 12-day and the 26-day EMA is whatever time frame one prefers. I personally like to use the MACD in its original form as introduced by Apple. Now coming to the second topic, the Bollinger Bands. So it was introduced by John Bollinger in 1980s. Bollinger Bands is perhaps one of the most useful technical analysis indicator. BB is Bollinger Bands is, I am using a abbreviation. BB is used to determine overbought and oversold level when a trader will try to sell when the price reaches the top of the band, and will execute a buy when the price reaches the bottom of the band. The BB has three components: the middle line, which is the 20-day simple moving average of the closing price, and upper band, this is the plus standard deviation of the middle line. A lower band, this is minus standard deviation of the middle line. The standard deviation is a statistical concept which measures a particular variable's variance from its averages. In finance, the standard deviation of the stock price represents the volatility of a stock. For example, if the standard deviation is 12%, it is as good as saying that the stock volatility is 12%. In BB, the standard deviation is applied on the 20-day SMA. The upper band indicates plus 2 standard deviation. Using a plus 2 standard deviation, we multiply the standard deviation by 2 and add it to the average. For example, if the 20-day SMA is 7800 and the standard deviation is 75 or 0.96%, then the plus 2 standard deviation would be 7800 plus 75 into 2, that comes out to be 7950. Likewise, a negative 2 standard deviation indicates we multiply the standard deviation by 2 and subtract it from the average. So it comes out to be 7800 minus 2 into 75, that comes out to be 7650. We now have the components of the BB 20-day SMA, that is 7800, upper band is 7950, lower band is 7650. Statistically speaking, the current market price should hover around the average price of 7800. However, if the current price is around 7950, it is considered expensive concerning the average. However, one should look at shorting opportunities when and with an expectation that the price will scale back to its average price. Therefore, the trade would be to sell at 7950 with a target of 7800. Likewise, if the current market price is around 7650, it is considered cheap considering the average price. Hence, we should consider buying opportunities to expect that the price will scale back to its average price. Therefore, the trader would be to buy at the trade would be to buy at 7650 with a target of 7800. The upper and lower band act as a trigger to initiate a trade. So the following chart of BPCL Limited, the central black line is the 20-day SMA. The two red line placed above and below the black line are +2 standard deviation and -2 standard deviation. The idea is to short this stock when the price touches the upper bound and expect it to revert to the average. Likewise, one can go long when the price touches the lower band, expecting it to revert to the average. I have highlighted using a down arrow all the signals BB generated. While most of the signals worked quite well, there was a phase when the price stuck to the upper band. In fact, the price continued to drift higher and therefore even the upper band expanded. This is called as an envelope expansion. The BB's upper and lower bound together form an envelope. The envelope expands whenever the price drift in particular direction, indicating strong momentum. The BB signal fails where there is an envelope expansion. This leads us to an important conclusion. BB works well in sideways market and fail in trending market. Whenever I use BB, I expect the trade to start working in favor almost immediately. If it does not, I start validating the possibility of an envelope expansion. Now, coming to the third topic, other indicator. There are numerous other technical indicators, and the list is endless. The question is, should we know all these indicators to be a successful trader? The answer is simply no. Technical indicators are good to know, but they by no means should be your main tool of analysis. I have personally met many aspiring traders who spend a lot of time and energy learning different indicators, but this is futile in the long run. The working knowledge of a few basic indicators, such as those discussed in the module, is sufficient. Now, the checklist. In the previous chapter, we started building a checklist that acts as a guiding force behind the trader's decision to buy or sell. It is time to revisit that checklist. The indicator act as a tool which the trader can use to confine their trading decision, and it is worthwhile to check what the decisions are conveying before placing a buy and sell order. While the dependence on indicator is not as much SNR volumes and candlestick pattern, it is always good to know what the basic indicators suggest. For this reason, I would recommend adding indicators in the checklist, but with a twist to it. I will explain the twist in a bit, but before that, let us reproduce the updated checklist. The stock should form a recognizable candlestick pattern. SNR should conform to the trade. The stop loss should be around SNR. For a long trade, the low of the pattern should be around the support. For a short trade, the high of the pattern should be around the resistance. Volume should confirm, ensure above average volumes on both buy and sell day. Low volumes are not encouraging, hence, do feel free to hesitate while taking trade where the volumes are low. Indicators should confirm, scale the size higher if the confirm. If they don't confirm, go ahead with the original plan. The sub bullet point under indicators are where the twist lies. Now, hypothetically, imagine a situation where you are looking at an opportunity to buy shares of Karnataka Bank Limited. On a particular day, Karnataka Bank has formed a bullish hammer. Assume everything ticks on the checklist. Bullish hammer is a recognizable candlestick pattern. The low of the bullish hammer always coincide with the support. The volume are above average. There is always a MACD crossover signal turn greater than the MACD line. With all the four checklist being ticked off, I would be happy to buy Karnataka Bank. Hence, I place an order to buy, let's say for 500 shares. However, imagine a situation where the first three checklist conditions are met, but the fourth condition, indicator should confirm, is not satisfied. What do you think I should do? I would still go ahead and buy, but instead of 500 share, I probably buy 300. This should hopefully convey to you how I tend to and advocate the use of indicators. When indicators confirm, I increase my bet size, but when indicators don't confirm, I still go ahead with my decisions to buy. I scale down my bet size. However, I would not do this with the third checklist point. For example, if the low of the bullish hammer do not coincide and around the support, I'll really reconsider my plan to buy the stock. In fact, I may skip the opportunity and look for another opportunity, but I do not treat the indicator with the same convention. It is always good to know what the indicators convey, but I don't base my decisions. If the indicators confirm, I increase the bet size. If they don't, I still go ahead with my original game plan. So the key takeaways from this chapter are: a MACD is a trend following system. MACD consists of 12 days, 26 days EMA. So MACD line is 12-day EMA minus 26-day EMA. The original sign is the 9-day SMA of the MACD line. The crossover strategy can be applied between MACD line and signal line. The Bollinger Band captures the volatility. It has a 20-day average, a plus 2 standard deviation and a minus 2 standard deviation. One can short the current price at plus 2 standard deviation with an expectation that the price reverts to the average. One can go long when the current price is at minus 2 standard deviation with an expectation that the price reverts to the average. BB works well in a sideways market. In a trending market, the BB's envelope expand and generate many false signals. Indicators are good to know, but it should not be treated as a single form of decision making. So this is all about indicators part 2. uh, Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.